Good. It's a good thing that there was no sound. It's actually a very good thing because I was just saying nothing. Nothing worth saying anyway. Um, I am Simon at Wandering DM. Welcome everyone to our second episode of Cyberpunk Red, our Cyberpunk Red campaign here on the channel. Tonight, we are introducing 3 new characters to the show. Mr. White, Jimenez, and Jinx. Tonight's game's gonna be real special because this is basically a series of one-on-one scenes with the players. And we'll begin tonight with Mr. White, but before we do so, I just want to say that this stream is sponsored by Mage Press, the makers of Dark Matter. You can find them at store.mageandpress.com. I think the Black Friday sale is still ongoing. You can purchase anything that they sell for 25% off, including the Dark Matter hardcover book, which normally goes for around $50, so you'd have 25% off. If you if you go to their store right now. The other sponsor of this show is Artalsorian Games, which we are very thankful for, as they are the makers of this game and also the givers of our special giveaway. Tonight we're giving away 2 things thanks to Artalsorian. The first one is, as always, as with every episode of Cyberpunk here on the channel, we're giving away a Jumpstart Kit for Cyberpunk Red, the PDF version. We'll do that during one of our breaks, and near the end of the stream tonight, we are giving away the whole Cyberpunk library of books, in PDF, of course, but all of the Cyberpunk books ever published, you get them for free tonight. That said, my intro is done. Let's move on to our first player. Can you tell us who you are and who you are playing tonight, sir?
Thank you for having me, Simon. I am Chris Geary. You can find me online on Twitter at Chris Geary. I am playing Mr. White tonight. He is the fixer, and his day job is that of a trauma team doctor.
And Trauma Team, for those who don't know, are basically the EMTs, the first respondent of the, well, almost first respondent of the cyberpunk world. But they deal with very violent and very deadly catastrophes. And they tend to move about in armored vehicle to fend off whatever booster gangers might want to have a piece of their tech so that they can reach their victims. Well, not their victims, but the victims of whatever crime happened that much faster. So they're, yeah, as chat says, they're EMT with guns. Our story takes place a few months before Mr. White moved in to the apartment. We'll begin in the offices of a trauma team, codename Blue Smoke. You have just come back from a job. Something really simple. Major car crash, 5 cars, all stuck together, piled up on one of the intersections of Night City. Had to get people out with not pry bars, but what do you call them?
Jaws of Life?
Yeah, the Jaws of Life. Thank you. It was a typical Tuesday night so far, and the camera will focus on the team as they get off their flying vehicle, whose name escapes me. Do you remember, Chris?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Alright. We'll call it, for now, the flying ambulance. There's an actual model for it, I just can't remember. If chat knows, please post it. The model of aircraft that the trauma team uses. As you're getting off your ship, Bo, Pillar can be seen stripping their guns and making sure, beginning to clean the parts. For those who don't know who they are, Bo is an African American woman presenting, and they have braided hair, like in like dreads that are braided like cornrows and go down her head to the back and the sides. They're scarred in the face due to having seen a lot of combat in the past. And they wear what is essentially almost on par for trauma team members, a heavy Kevlar suit over their uniform. Their uniform colors being dark blue and white. And with Bo is Pilar Gomez, an Hispanic woman wearing dark shades, black hair, goes down almost to her midriff. She wears similarly a heavy armor. She's in the process of taking it off. Her rifle, her submachine gun, resting on the side of the inside, I should say, the AV4A. Thank you. Right after them comes out a young man by the name of Boutros, a fella of Egyptian descent. He is covered in blood splatter. He was the one who actually had to use the Jaws of Life multiple times to drag one of the bodies out, and unfortunately someone with a very deep cut sort of grabbed onto his clothes and just left blood all over his clothes. How old is Boutros, Chris? I'm picturing him in his like mid-20s.
Yeah, that'd be right.
So mid-20s, black hair, short mustache, still vibrant with the energy of youth. And unseen for the moment are both Sin and Maddie. Maddie the gunner and Sin Chu the pilot. They are still inside the craft. We'll see them probably later. But after these three comes out Mr. White. Would you care to describe yourself, Mr. White?
Sure. Mr. White is a tall gentleman. A 6'2", 6'3". He has, when he's on duty, he always has his helmet on. But now that they're back at the station, pulls his helmet off, shaved head, puts on his mirror shades, beard, pretty stocky, not really built, but definitely broad-shouldered.
As you come out, Boutros looks at you, taking his dirty uniform off. It's like, that sure was a thing. Right, Doctor?
Yeah, typical Tuesday.
Yeah, I just gotta shake off some of the images from tonight. Do you think it's too early for a drink?
Depends on who you ask. If you ask Pilar or Bo, they'll probably already set you up.
It's probably what I need. And he turns around, looking at the AV, and he sighs, and he's like, I hope to God there aren't any more alarms tonight. And of course, as he says that, the alarms go off. A call dispatched to your AV. We have a medical emergency, downtown Night City. I repeat, medical emergency, downtown Night City. There's a precarious building. It's almost... Oh, wait. No. Building fell down. Building fell down. I repeat, we have about 100 people stuck in the rubbles of a building. Seems like bad gang activity. I'd suggest bringing in the big guns. Can anyone take it? Is anyone nearby? Is anyone available?
You'll see Well, in this case, because we're on duty, Dr. Frost kind of turns to everybody and goes, all right, let's go. And he kind of hand over the head and circles up. Don't let Maddie get trigger happy till we actually see the scene. And he'll call in on the comms and say, Blue Smoke here. Just got back to the shop. We'll be in the air in 3.
Boutros is looking at you with his uniform almost half off. He's like, God damn it. Puts it back on. Zips it. The other two, Pillar and Bo, bring their weapons back in the AV. Bo's weapon is still in parts, and they have to put it back together. You climb aboard. It takes a minute and a half for the AV to be filled up with Chutu, enough to get it flying, enough to get to downtown Night City. On the radio, on the way there, you hear that another group, Neon Thunder, they call themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They will be on site too, but they'll be late. They're finishing up a cleanup elsewhere in the suburbs. But they're the nearest from you, and the ones with the most room in their vehicle. So they'll come help, but at a later time. You make your way to the scene of the event. It's a war zone. A building that used to stand abandoned, really. You remember it. You remember driving past it at some point. The windows had been shattered. The only thing that was left was the concrete skeleton full of graffitis.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like someone set off demolition charges at the base of it, and everything crumbled down. The problem was the building next to it. A poor, rickety, almost tenement-like apartment building that was leaning against this building for support. With this one gone, the other one toppled over. As you approach the scene, you can hear the sound of people from the wreckage. And, in the distance, the sound of gunfire. Seems like whatever booster gangs were in the area, they are still fighting, though they're about 1 block over. As you approach the scene, is there anything that you want to do while you're in the AV?
Well, on the route, we kind of go over protocol. Going into a hot scene, not a lot of recon. It's fresh. That means we clear the scene before we land. Nobody gets out until we know we've got a safe spot. Everybody's coming home tonight.
Yes, sir. The rest of the team replies in unison. You hear Maddie from the gunner position up top, radioing in. I don't see anyone. It's just... Is there anything that I can shoot? Anything, really? Because...
Hold on. I'm sure the lawmen missed something. You can hear the gunfire. Speaking of that, though...
Yeah.
Is there any reports of where the police have... Or how many are on scene? If they're actually dispatched at all?
Yeah, I figure your comms are probably... Your dispatch is probably linked to the dispatch of the NCPD. And you would know that 4 vehicles are on their way, as well as, for good measure, I'll give them the vulgar name, but the Psycho Squad.
Okay.
Can't remember the actual C-SWAT or something.
Okay.
and they're on their way, but no one expected, like, the area you're in at the moment is not gang territory. It's while there are some gangs that sometimes stake out the area, like, it's never been a contested zone, and it's close enough to corporate center that, you know, it's dangerous to be here, even though corporate center is now mostly wreckage since the explosion of the Arasaka Towers. C-SWAT. That's what I thought. Thank you, chat. But yeah, you know that a group of them, 4 cars and an armored vehicle, are on their way. They'll be there probably a bit after you, since they're using ground vehicles and not air support like you are.
Okay.
I just want to warn everyone in chat that Mr. White, Dr. Frost, works as a trauma team, which means that we are going to see injured people. Gonna do my best not to go into the gory details, but if you're squeamish or have an aversion to blood, the next minutes you might be best to just mute us for the next minutes, just in case. Trying to keep it PG-13, but who knows? The AV lands right on the street corner where the building used to stand. It's just rubble, broken furniture. Here and there you can see an arm or a leg come out of the rubble, twitching. Some people are trying to get out of the rubble, but some of them are just stuck between enormous blocks of concrete or other similarly large objects. Your AV vehicle has a sort of like grappling hook to it, so you can drag things, you can lift things. You especially use that whenever you need to lift a what do you call the sort of like bed that you put like a sick patient in? A gurney.
Yeah, gurney or
a gurney.
Yeah.
So yeah, to lift gurneys. But it can be used to lift obstacles too. And Sin turns around, and for those of you at home, Sin is a short Chinese woman of, I think she's in what, 30s, 40s?
A little younger than that.
A little younger? Okay. So late 20s, early 30s. And she turns around and says, Doc, where'd you want me?
For this, I want you staying right there. If we have to exit, we're going to have to exit hot and exit fast. Batty, keep that corner safe. Don't let anyone come around it. Otherwise, Bo and Pilar are screwed.
All right. Sirens are a little obnoxious right now. And yet there are a constant presence in the background of Night City. You, before you get out, protocol dictates that the two security guards come out first. Mm-hmm. Bo and Gomez take up their rifles and their submachine gun. Soon as the door opens of the AV, they're out and about, aiming around, establishing a perimeter, and they radio into you. Everything seems safe so far, Doctor.
All right, folks. Keep your eyes open. And I will go ahead and exit with Boutros.
Mm-hmm.
And we will head to the closest casualty that we can find. We'll start there and work our way in.
The first person is on the street corner, probably someone who wasn't even inside the building when it collapsed. A poor, unfortunate person stuck underneath a street light post that fell on them. You notice that both of their legs are bent, not broken, but probably strained to the absolute maximum that they can be. They're moaning in pain, and they're trying to get up, and it seems like there's 5 gift subs. Thank you so much, Thragon. They're trying to get back up, but it seems like every time they make an effort, they yell out in pain. And they see you approach, and it gives them this hope. And so they try to get up even faster. And they're just, Doc!
Stay down.
I don't have a trauma team license. Are you gonna help me?
Stay down.
All right.
I will. I'm looking for something to act as a lever and fulcrum.
There's a broken piece of concrete nearby, and you could use a stop sign as the lever.
Okay. I'll point at the stop sign to Boutros and say, grab that as soon as Gomez or Anders says it's clear. And I'll go over and grab the piece of concrete.
All right. You take up the piece of concrete, and as you lift it, you notice, like, underneath it is the crushed hand of someone who's probably long gone, the rest of the body under all the wreckage. Probably someone who lived on the first floor and couldn't get out in time. You take the and I mean, it's a big enough piece of concrete. Like, I don't know how strong Mr. White is, but it's probably a good, close to 100 pounds.
Okay.
And you bring it, drop it down. Boutros arrives with the lever, shoves it on, like, under the lamppost, and tries to push on it, but it doesn't. He's like straining, and it doesn't work that well.
Is it giving at all?
A little, but it's probably because you get the idea that Boutros is probably just not strong enough, or can't put strong enough leverage on it.
I'll point to the person and say, attend to him or them. Attend to them. You're gonna have to get them out quick once we get this up. And I'll grab it and use the lever.
All right. I'm going to ask you to make an athletics check.
Oh.
So on your sheet, you can go on the action tab.
There's no characters found. Did I not put myself on the board?
It doesn't. Suppose I was not supposed to do that. If you go under the actions tab on your sheet.
Yeah, that's where I was.
Huh.
I just get an error.
Strange. Let me try it for fun. I want to see that error message. No character was found for Dr. Frost. Okay.
I definitely have a character here.
Yeah, you do. Alright, and what if I were to take you, drag you on the map? Alright, can you try again?
Still giving me that. You want me to reload?
Probably, that
Roll
might
20?
help.
Alright. I'll log out of roll 20 and reload.
Because we didn't get it, and we didn't get those error messages last time.
No, and I didn't get it last time that when I was practicing.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, alright, God. When we did the intro for the other characters, we didn't even need the tokens. And everything worked. So it's probably just an
Nope.
issue with the sheet or with Roll20.
Okay. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and calculate this myself. So it's going to be my athletics plus body with a D10, right?
Yeah.
Now let's see here. We're going to do a D10.
Is
That's
athletics
what
body?
I thought it was.
Yes, it's body. Yeah.
So we're doing 1D10. Ha! There you go.
Ooh, can you roll again?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a fumble. 7. You also try to move the lamppost up, and it just doesn't move.
Are we still clear?
Bo, who's the closest to you, replies, yes, we are, Doctor.
Butchers, come here and give me a hand. Let's see if we can do this together.
The two of you can put enough weight on it to lift the lamppost. Enough for that other person to drag themselves out from under it, wincing with every move. How much is that going to cost me, Doctor?
Looking at them, did you say are they broken or not?
They look sprained. Like while they were dragging themselves out, they managed to like bend them back into like a natural position. But clearly, this person would need medical services just to ensure that nothing's been broken.
Get out of here.
What? By dragging myself?
It's going to cost a lot more if we take you out.
Fucking city. Damn. And he drags himself out slowly but surely. That's when you hear gunshots in the close distance.
Okay.
Gomez radios in. Got one. They're down. Doc, it seems like the vultures are coming about.
All right, let's move faster. Anybody around here actually... Do we know of anybody here that has a trauma team license?
So far, it doesn't seem like there was any, because you didn't get any signal from a trauma team license. But in order for them to activate it, they need to take the card and bend it in half, which, if they're stuck under the rubble, probably that they can't.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's start clearing people out, one at a time.
As you do so, for the next couple minutes, you start bringing people out. Some of them, they will need new limbs, clearly. Some will be lucky if they survive the night. Others, not so bad. It seems like the people that lived on the far end side of the building, the way it crumbled on itself, they ended up being on the top. So they have like barely a wall over them. So in some instances, most of them were able to get back up by themselves. And as you do so, the C-SWAT and the NCPD arrives on the scene. They start cordoning off the entire area, the two buildings, and agents can be seen darting left and right, trying to find any signs of other active gang members. The C-SWAT are similarly looking around, investigating the rubble. And that's when you actually get a beep on
Okay.
your data pad from an activated trauma team card.
We will head in that direction. I will also remind Maddie that she need not fire if any police officers are in the line of fire.
Oh, I'm not gonna fire at them, Doctor, but
I know, but they get really mad when you get too close.
yeah, apparently they also get mad if you steal their kill or something.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Actually, I like that you do that.
Alright, well, I'll keep an eye out. Gomez was faster than me, she says begrudgingly.
Gomez is faster than all of us.
You make your way to where the signal came of that, like, broken card.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's under a mound of debris. You can almost see through. You would probably need a perception check to get a good idea of what's inside. But it seems like this mound of rubble is hollow.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so perception's going to be, since I have to do this manually right now, intelligence or
Perception is awareness.
yeah. An awareness
sorry.
skill.
It's a shoot. Intelligence.
Intelligence?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll go with intelligence.
I just don't have that up because I didn't think I needed it. So, all right.
Oof. Looking through the holes, you notice there are 4 people huddled together. And they are shaking, clearly traumatized by what happened. One of them is has an arm stuck under the rest of the debris, and the others are huddled around them. You can even see with a 20 the broken trauma team card lying on the ground. But the 4 of them seem to be arguing among themselves instead of trying to reassure one another. You can make out a bit of the conversation, and it seems that they're talking about who should get the benefit of the card.
Okay. With that same check that I had, do I have a good idea of how to actually get to them without it falling on top of them?
The way it looks, your best bet would probably be to lift the top and then have them climb out.
Okay.
Because it seems like if you remove any of the debris from anywhere around this mound, the top will just collapse all over them.
All right, well, that is the play then. We're going to have to do it as team lift. Bootros, you help them get out.
Yes, sir.
Either Bo or Pilar, one of you's got to help me.
Bo says, I will.
All right. On 3. Ready?
Whenever you are.
1, 2, 3.
And they lift with you the slab of what was probably the flooring of a bathroom, because you can still see parts of like ceramic slabs on there, and you move it to the side, and as the top moves, all 4 of them under look up, and they're like, oh, thank God, there's someone. And they seem to freeze for a second, and one of them immediately gets up and says, "It was my card."
No talking. Get out.
But it was my card. I want to be...
I'm holding on to this and just saying, out now.
But it's mine, right? And the others start immediately shouting over one another, like, no, it's not yours, it's mine. I saw it first. Yes, but I'm the one who turned it on. And the person with the arm stuck is just gritting their teeth and breathing hard.
I'll look over at Bo and over the comms say, can we actually get this all the way off?
Bo says, what do you mean?
Kind of tip it over?
Oh, yeah, you can. Like, just tip it over so it falls.
Yeah. Okay. At that point, Mr. White's hopping down in the hole and says, one last time, you have to the count of 3 to get out of here. Otherwise, I'm putting that slab back over all of you.
And they all look at each other, and I'm going to ask you to make a persuasion check.
Persuasion.
Yes.
This time I actually pulled up the document, so I know what I'm looking for. Cool. That's my cool.
Did you try through the action buttons?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
and
where
it
I
did
was
the same
trying
thing?
before, and it wasn't working.
Okay.
But I'll try again. Nope, still getting the error. So, cool. Plus persuasion. 21.
They look at each other and begin clambering out. Bo helping them get out of the hole one by one. And just for fun, as they are lifting them, Bo says, "That'll be $250. $250. $250. They look very displeased. The other person under the wreckage looks at you and says, "I'll be honest with you, dog, that wasn't my card. Are you gonna help me?"
I reach down and pick up the card. I stick it in my pocket. And I assess the situation. Like, what am I going to have to do with this arm? Is it coming off or is it coming out?
It's coming off. Your knowledge, I won't insult your knowledge of medical sciences, not with the skills that you have. Even if you were able to lift all the wreckage, like, it's probably paste at this point. Plus, cyber arms are cheap.
Yeah.
There's even a sale right now.
I'll just put a hand on the person's shoulder and be like, so, think about your favorite color and get your cyber arm in that color.
What?
Focus on your favorite color.
Purple.
Then he'll yell up, Boutros, bring the kit.
Sure, sir. And Boutros goes off. And before they come back, Bo leans over the hole and says, Doc?
Yeah?
Doc? Someone's getting themselves out of the rubble by themselves. And what I mean is, they're lifting concrete blocks. I don't know who they are. I think you might want to stay in that hole for the time being. And they load their weapon.
I'm definitely peeking out to see if I can see what's going on.
Out of the rubble of the other building, the one that had the demolition charges put on, a bulky, like 6'6", a good probably 400 pounds at this point with all the metal on it. Giant of a person is just like Atlas holding, the statue of Atlas holding the world. They're holding onto like a broken column of concrete and steel and just lifting it up. And even from this distance, you can hear the creaking of their metal joints just as the cyber limbs force to lift it up. And they throw it, cast it aside like it was nothing. You don't see an inch of flesh on that person. It's metal from head to toe. Yes.
Sin, inform C-SWAT. Maddie, lock onto that thing. If it comes near us, unload.
Yes, sir. You won't tell me twice. And Sin immediately radios C-SWAT. You can hear, boys, I think we got a psycho. And almost, a fraction of a second after, you hear the pew of something being fired, propelled, and an explosion. You see are you still peeking?
Oh yeah.
The Borg just took a small rocket to the chest and they are thrown backwards. Still, they get back up. Yell out a weird, almost machine-like scream. And from their arms come out these long blades. And they start running in your direction.
Toward us?
Toward you.
Shit.
Well, I should say toward Bo, because you're still hiding inside. Bo immediately opens fire. You hear Maddie say, I'm taking the shot. And the turret starts blasting high impact bullets into that thing. And while it does make him deviate from his trajectory, it doesn't seem to slow him down. What are you gonna do? It's roughly 100 feet away from you.
That's a great question.
You still have the moaning person.
Yeah, the moaning person's gonna have to wait. Because if I'm dead, they're not getting out of here.
Nope.
Let's see here. Cyber attack. What do I see? Basically, like, what do I know about any of that technology? If it's creaking, it doesn't sound like it's necessarily the highest end or in the best condition.
Make a cyber tech check for me.
23.
23. Okay. They are comprised of a mix of different cyber prosthetics.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't even say prosthetics because at this point it's replaced completely. The legs are an older model of cyber legs, made for industrial workers. But the rest from the waist up is cyber tech that is more common among battlefields than on a booster gang member. And in fact, you recall seeing these long blades, like they were advertised by a military adjacent company called IEC.
Okay.
probably that the rest of the body, looking at the armor, the sort of helmet that they have, or is it like their actual head? You can't even see their eyes as they're running. There's a large visor hiding most of their face.
What do I know about those industrial legs? Pistons? Are we talking something that leaks fluid? Usually industrial doesn't worry about armoring anything or covering anything.
Nope. You would know with that 23 that there is a literal Achilles heel on it.
Okay.
The back of the legs is extremely fragile. That's where all the pistons are. All the the retractable rods that help maintain and support.
I will call out for everyone to concentrate fire on the back of the legs. That thing needs to stop running. Put it down. We'll deal with it later.
Understood. And you hear not only Bo, but this time even Gomez got to the, is slowly flanking that Borg and firing at the side of the prosthetic as she's trying to place herself to fire at the back of it. Cyber Squad send you a message on the radio. Get your people out of range, because we're bringing the big guns. And we don't care for casualties.
Give me 30 seconds. Fire at its legs. Give me fire support at its legs for 30 seconds. Then we're out.
Doctor, you're crazy. Boys, fire at and the communication cuts off. But you hear the sound of multiple rifles firing. And
watch
even
your firing lanes,
grenades.
people. Stay out of harm's way. I'm cutting this guy's arm off. Be out in a jiffy. And I will hop down and I will grab the blade that I keep on me when I am on duty, and just go right for taking it off. I can't worry about a saw right now, so I'm going right at the elbow where I know that there's joint tissue and tendons that I can cut through, and we'll deal with the bleeding later.
All right, can you make a first aid check for me?
Yes, I can. That's going to be, where's that button? That is, first aid is my tech plus my first aid. 21.
21, you expertly cut through the tendons and the ligaments holding the elbow together, minimizing the bleeding as much as you can. The person is just bawling, crying.
And I'll just look at him and repeat over and over again, purple. Think of purple.
Purple.
And I am lifting him up and basically passing him off to, trying to just get him out of the hole for now. If Boutros came back, I hope not. I hope he stayed at the ship. With that
He did not come back.
Yeah. I'm just going to lift him and boost him right out.
And Bo actually ceases fire for a second and takes the man by the other arm to help lift him up. And that's when you hear a loud thud and a crash. Gravel and debris start flying over like shrapnel. The Borg comes to a halt. A few yards away from where you are, from the hole.
Everyone out, 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 out.
Everyone starts moving. Bo has the victim in their arm, rifle in the other hand, and they just, backtrack to the AV. What do you do now that your team is slowly retreating from this impromptu battlefield?
Did I recognize any gang symbols or anything on the tech?
In fact, no. It seems like this person, whoever they are, were purposefully um, unbranded, if I can say so.
Okay.
It's like the lack of gang symbols, or even of like belonging to an organization or a corporation or whatever, is suspiciously absent.
I'll switch over to the C-SWAT channel and say, we're moving out. Once it's done, I'll pronounce if you want me to.
Alright, give us a second, Doctor. And you hear 3 rockets being fired. They explode near your location. But you can duck into the hole long enough for the debris of the explosion to fly away. And as you come back up from the hole, you notice a small crater where that Borg used to be. The body
is there anything left?
Shredded to pieces.
Okay.
And you notice that there's not a lot of blood.
Perfect. I'm looking for any sort of interior microchips. Anything inside it that would be identifying.
You start rummaging through the wreckage of this Borg, and you notice that aside from a few vital organs, everything has been replaced by machinery.
Mm-hmm.
There are chips in their head. Looking at them, you notice that they're brain dense chips.
Okay.
With your knowledge of cybertech,
mm-hmm.
you can easily come to the conclusion that this person, whoever they were living in a fake world.
Gotcha.
And probably not with their consent.
I'm going to pull one of the chips.
Mm-hmm.
And, pull one of the chips and take it with me. And as I walk by C-SWAT, I'll be like, yeah, you got him. Good job, guys.
As always.
And then return to the AV and tend to the patient, who hopefully Boutros has already cauterized and gotten his arm, or their arm patched up.
Yeah. Boutros is already busy at work with not only the person that you and Bo got out of the hole, but the 3 others who were also injured, and there's a few more lining up. It seems that there's a Sin has been helping, doing a bit of a triage between the various wounded, but out of... Well, you don't know how many people were living in that block, but there's about 17 people outside right now.
Yeah, and they said that it could be 100 casualties, so
yeah,
that's what I'm gonna assume. All right, so if everybody's orderly, we'll get you patched up as best as we can. If anybody has a card, we can take you somewhere. And I'll leave Boutros to taking care of the line, and I'll take over with the guy that I pulled out of the hole. And finish up, make sure everything's good to go. I'm assuming it's fine. Boutros is solid, but it's my job to verify on any major trauma like that.
You know that one thing that Boutros lacks for the moment is this sort of detachment that you need to have with your patients. He's a bit too involved still, and that leaves him vulnerable whenever he's dealing with especially hard trauma like losing an arm could be. So he's been avoiding this person as much as he can. Like, he patched him up, but he's not like He's trying to stay as far away as he can from him.
That's fine. I'll try and mitigate that as best as possible, so that way Boutros can not stress about one more thing. As I'm working with the person, I will say, the name's Dr. Frost, and I pull the card out of my pocket when nobody's looking, and I stick it in their pocket and say, I don't care what you think. I know what I saw. We're taking you to the hospital.
Thanks, Doc. And he taps the pocket that you put the card in. He's like, that belonged to my neighbor. When everything started crashing, he fell in my apartment. My door was left open. He fell in. I haven't seen him after. Everything went sideways.
If he's alive, he'll get taken care of. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You have one thing to worry about right now, and that's living long enough to get that purple cyber arm.
Thanks, Doc. I guess I owe you one.
Right now, you owe everybody just living, okay? That's enough.
Yeah. Yeah, living.
There's enough death around here right now. We don't need more of that. So no bleeding out on me, all right?
Yeah. No bleeding out on you. And they try to lean back against the... So like the inside the AV, there's a few gurneys that are there for, and that's where he was sitting. I should have probably mentioned that earlier. And he just leans back on it and closes his eyes slowly.
That's good. I'll hook the patient up to monitors. That way, if the vital signs start to drop, I get alerted, so I can then go help Boutros with the rest of them.
All right. You gather a few more people, one of which is very interesting, for they are a Booster Gang member. Part of the Butchers, a very violent gang who enjoys chopping their victims to pieces. They are far enough away from the AV that if something was to happen to them, probably nobody would notice. But they look at you as you approach, you and Boutros, with pleading eyes. They are currently stuck. You don't see their legs. Just from the waist up, the rest is under rubble. And they're even twisted a bit. One of their shoulders has been popped out. And they look at you with pleading eyes and say, I'm not ready to die, Doctor.
Are the legs salvageable?
Looking at them, you notice that from the waist, what you can see is their left leg seems to have been cybered up, but not the right. So the left might not be that big of a loss, but the right
It's
one...
replaceable, at least.
Yeah, I mean, if they have insurance on the spare parts, they can probably get that replaced. But the right one is... might be salvageable. It'll depend a lot on your skills as a medical professional.
All right. I'll just look at him and say, "Can you pay?"
Fucking trauma team. I mean, corporate lapdogs. No, I can't pay. I don't have anything.
So should I amputate like you like to do?
Really funny, Doctor. Didn't you take an oath or something that you can't do harm or whatever?
I asked the question. I didn't do harm. And at this time, I've already pointed to Boutros to have him kind of evaluate. And I also have both Bo and Pilar, just in case.
Bo and Pilar are looking at the booster ganger, and they have their hands on their weapons. They're not aiming at them, but they're ready.
Okay.
You know that if something goes wrong, that person's dead. Boutros approaches the man and begins to inspect the wound. He says, "There's not a lot we can do, Doc. We can probably drag him out and probably save the leg, but that's going to take us time and effort. Much more than that other guy with the lever from earlier."
All right.
He says, if I had to call it, I'd say spare the body and get rid of the leg.
You set his shoulder. I'll take care of the leg.
All right. And he puts a hand on the person's chest and the other hand behind the shoulder, and with a pop and a cock, the shoulder pops back in. The ganger just mutters, "A motherfucker!"
You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine.
You're gonna chop me up to pieces, Doctor?
No. I ain't like you. And let's go ahead and extricate the leg. What do you want me to roll for that?
That will be a first aid check. Because as much as there's rubble on him, nothing's too heavy for you to move. It's just you're gonna have to be very careful in removing the rubble and removing the body at the same time.
Okay. All right, fingers crossed.
I was gonna say DC 17, but oof.
I rolled a 1.
You begin removing him, and you hear as you move the body. Like, the more you move it, the louder the sound becomes.
Stop. You really got yourself in a pickle.
Yeah.
What happened here? Just talk to me. It'll keep you from falling into shock. Tell me what was going on.
Fucking robot came out of nowhere, man.
Yeah, I saw it.
We're having ourselves a good old time. Tonight was sausage night. I had one of those corporate shills. I was gonna make a nice nice pieces out of them. Put that on the net. Yeah.
All right.
Make a shitload of bucks out of the video.
You ready to try this again? Is anything working in that right leg of yours? Or the left leg of yours. The cybered one.
And he looks at it for a moment and then looks back at you with his eyes twitching and he says, I'm trying to get it to move, but it doesn't respond.
Okay. Now, I can't fix that, but I'm trying to save the other one. Okay?
I know.
All right. Let's do this one more time. Breathe. Ready?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
You ready now?
Yeah. Go. And with one deft move, you pull the rest of the leg out from under the rubble. It doesn't take a doctorate to see that the leg is broken in multiple places.
Can I save it?
It'll take extensive surgery, but it is savable, salvageable.
All right.
Surgery that this person probably cannot afford.
And what happens if they can't afford it?
Hopefully they can steal the cyber leg off of some random individual and just have it rippered up.
But I mean, if I actually took them back, did the surgery in the AV, fixed it on the way, and dropped them off at the hospital, what would they do to them because they couldn't afford it?
They would do nothing.
Okay.
You could probably try to set the leg in a cast.
Mm-hmm.
And if it heals right, they'll be stuck with a limp for the rest of their lives.
Okay.
If it doesn't, it's going to have to be amputated anyway.
All right, well, I'll tell him what his options are. I can try and set it while we're in transit and give you a shot at actually being able to use it again. Still may have to come off. Or I can drop you at a hospital and you can see if anybody you know has the money to help you pay for it.
I can probably mug a doctor or something. Bring me to the hospital, Doc.
All right.
And Bo and Pillar look at you, and as you and Boutros bring the body out, you can hear Pillar just mutter under her breath, "You're really gonna save him?"
We fight monsters. We aren't monsters.
Doctor, he just told you they were about to butcher some poor guy.
Mm-hmm. And this way, police can actually find out more about that. Over the comms, this is happening, not actually through the speakers.
Yeah.
Sin, radio ahead to the near, whatever hospital is nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Have police on standby. We're going to drop him off quick at the emergency. Tell them to be stealthy. Otherwise, he might flip out. And you don't want him taking out anybody that's a bystander. But he's got information about that building collapse. And if he dies, the information dies with him.
All right, I'll radio in the NCPD. Closest hospital is the Robert Pattinson Children's Hospital.
All right. They just have to set up there and take him wherever they're going to take him. We're not actually letting him inside.
Good enough. Do you want me to come to you, or you're going to come to me?
You're probably going to want to move over here. This guy's not good for leaving.
All right. You hear the heavy rotors of your AV start spinning, and the aircraft flies right above you, lands. You get in, the door closes, and Sin takes off again in the AV.
Bo, Pilar, if he makes a move on anyone, you end him fast.
You won't have to ask us twice, Doc.
Don't ask at all. If he makes a move on anyone, you end him fast.
You get to the hospital. You drop off. Do you only drop off this booster gang member, or do you also drop off the other wounded? Like the man who's missing an arm.
No, we're gonna take him to not a children's hospital. We'll take him to the next hospital over.
To an
I don't want him
actual-
in this spot.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I'd like to take him to wherever I think is going to be the best care for the price that he can afford with that card.
The card was it's a silver trauma team card, so it's good enough for just about everything. You could bring them even to the Richard Knight Hospital, which is the most high-end hospital that money can afford. Normally only corporate executives and the rich and famous can receive treatment there. But with a silver card, they'll take him in and they'll give him appropriate care.
No, I want someone that's not going to look down on him for it, but is good care. So
Just one step below. Sure.
yeah,
You bring him to the hospital, and he opens his eyes long enough to tell you, I thank you to you and your team. I won't forget it.
just live a good life, and everything's even. All right.
Hey, don't worry.
And if I ever see you again, there better be a purple cyber arm. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And they fall back down asleep. And that's where we'll end our scene for tonight. Mr. White, Dr. Robert Frost. Did you have fun?
Oh, absolutely.
This happened a few months, about 9 months before you moved into the apartment. And as we begin the game, I just want to let you know that you will not have seen this person again.
Okay.
I don't know if Mr. White keeps an eye out for that person.
No, it's more of it was more just a bedside banter kind of thing.
Okay.
If he would have seen him, he definitely would have remembered about the purple cyber arm.
Okay. Then we'll take a quick break. After the break, we have another player to introduce. Chat, say goodbye to Mr. White, and we will see you again in about 5 minutes. Stick around, everyone. Hello everyone, we are back. Again, have to fix the cameras real quick. Just because the overlay is a bit finicky when we are... when I'm trying to edit it from another window. So, before we begin our second part for tonight and introduce the new character, I just want to let you know that right after this sequence, we are going to give away the Jumpstart Kit for Cyberpunk Red, the PDF, thanks to Cyberpunk, thanks to Artalsorian Games. And at the end of the stream tonight, we are giving away the whole library of Cyberpunk books to one lucky winner. So, without further ado, let us meet our next player, our next cast member. Would you please introduce yourself and tell us who you are and who you are playing?
Hi, everybody. My name is Nino. I am playing Jimenez, a rocker boy by way of professional wrestling. So we're going to go a little off script here.
And Jimenez is new to Night City. Having come from the East Coast, isn't it?
That's right.
As with all the other players, Jimenez, you live in the apartment building at 2077 Pondsmith Avenue. But this game tonight will focus on a prior moment in your life. When you were fresh off the boat, as they say. You had been in Night City for a while, fighting in underground wrestling matches, not well-known places, somewhat local. You built yourself a small but loyal fan base. And there's this wrestler who goes by the name of Ice Dragon. Ice Dragon is an older wrestler, almost in his 40s now. Gray hair, cut in a buzz cut, one bulky red cyber eye. His entire jaw has been replaced by cyber implants because it was broken too many times over the course of his career. He, like most wrestlers, do not bear any cyber implants unless he necessarily has to. So he's not boosted or anything. But he has the body of almost the same bulk as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So he's muscular. He stands at about 5'9", and his regular apparel when he's in the ring is a pair of combat boots and camo pants. Otherwise, he is naked from the waist up. It goes with his whole persona and shtick of the ex-Militech soldier. Recently, however, well, Ice Dragon fell on hard times. He hasn't been winning much. Actually lost a lot of followers, a lot of fans. The League, Club Underground, is where he used to be from. He's actually still part of the League, but they want him out. And so they've organized a few fights between him and other newcomers to get him a sort of, like, despite all the losses, to still make him act as a sort of gatekeeper to Club Underground. And tonight he's fighting in the ring against 4 other newcomers. And all of them were beat. And he stands there gloating over the broken body of his opponents. The crowd is booing him liberally. The commentators are just going nuts over how is this possible? Who will ever get Ice Dragon off the ring? This is nonsense. He's supposed to want to retire, which is the storyline they're going with. Like, he's not being kicked out, he's retiring. Why is he preventing the future hope of Club Underground from getting a place inside the league? Who will ever topple the Ice Dragon? Outside of the ring, jets of smoke puff up. Flashes, sparks. That's your cue. What do you do?
So, Jimenez, he waits for his cue, and the entrance music that's playing is Green Day's Know Your Enemy. And so as he pops in, you see him standing there at the top of the ramp. He's got his backpack. He's wearing cut-up jeans in a jean jacket, and underneath the jean jacket is a shirt. So he's got this shirtception thing going on. So because it's a picture of him on the shirt wearing a picture, or in the picture, it's a picture of him inside a picture of a shirt, and it just keeps going on and on and on like that. So you see him there with his backpack, and he looks kind of bored. But someone hands him a mic and goes, yeah, I guess I'll do it.
The commentators go, but who is this? Who's this newcomer? Who's this? Well, actually, Jim, who is this? We've never seen him before. And then they stop talking to leave you some time.
Jimenez continues to, I wouldn't say approach the ring with any sort of urgency. He's sort of like sauntering around. But he'll look in the crowd and he'll spot someone with a Jimenez sign. And then he'll just borrow it, and then he'll just put a little marker and a downward arrow underneath the Jimenez part, and then just hold it over his head for all the cameras, because he doesn't really expect them to put like a little graphic on the screen that says who he is.
I think he's called Jimenez, Jim. This is strange. He's coming. I heard rumors of this Jimenez guy. He's an East Coaster, it seems. What is he doing in Night City? And will he really try to topple the dragon? An Ice Dragon turns around slowly, for good measure, kicks one of the downed opponents at the same time. And he lights himself, his signature move, 3 smokes between his fingers, and lights them up. And just takes a puff of each and expels a large cloud of smoke. His breath of the dragon. And he says, "Who are you, boy? You're coming to fight me?"
So Jimenez, just puts his backpack down against the ring, waves a little bit to the crowd, and then he'll sort of just roll lazily into the ring and onto his feet. He'll have one hand with the mic and his other hand in his pocket, and goes, yeah, I guess that's what they brought me here to do.
You guess? What is this? You're kind of some Superman? You're gonna take me on with a hand in your pocket, is that it? And like some of the crowd laughs at that.
I mean, I don't really think I would need both hands for this. I get paid the same way whether I win or lose this match, so
They laugh at that comment. And he puts all three of his smokes down and he says, I'll be generous with you, whelp. I'll give you 1 week. You got 1 week to say your goodbyes to your family and your friends. 1 week, and then we meet up here, and I'm gonna crush your skull.
well, you see, Ice Dragon, here's the thing, is that my name is Jimenez. I've got the gift of gab and the gift of jab. And next week, when we meet here in this ring, I'm going to smack you so hard, it's going to put that lazy cyber eye of yours right back to work.
Everyone in the crowd goes, ooh! And they clap their fingers. Some people, especially some of your more loyal fans who were aware of your presence tonight, get Jimenez signs out that they had hidden and start chanting your name. And Dragon tries to shush the crowd, and it doesn't work at all. And we'll fade on that as the evening keeps going on. There's 1 or 2 more fights, but Jimenez isn't part of them. You have 1 week to prep. What does Jimenez's prep look like?
So, it probably involves a lot of napping, because So the shtick with Jimenez's ring presence is that I guess he's sort of the cyberpunk red equivalent of a millennial. He sort of realizes that working like 110% of your effort all the time is just going to burn you out. So his whole shtick is that he only wrestles for maybe 20% of the match, and the other 80% of the match he's sort of just screwing around. He hopes that people buy into that because they too know what it's like to have to work at a place where you're not necessarily going to get promoted or elevated to another platform. So he's sort of just collecting a paycheck, and they all kind of get that. So that is his preparation, but he isn't really a slouch. He stands about 5'11". He's not really built like a truck. He's got a more a climber's build, more or less. So if anyone is around the apartment building, they'll see that a lot of his cardiovascular workouts is actually just parkour all around the building, up and down the fire escapes, leaping off cars, ledges, that sort of thing. But so he tends to focus more on his core muscles rather than just try to work on his appearance muscles, I guess. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't really spend a whole lot of time lifting weights. A lot of his build is out of practical usage. So
during your week, around the 4th day, let's say it's a Thursday, you get a message from one of your fans, like one of the oldest first person. He was 8 when you went to see your first bout. And I don't know how long Jimenez has been fighting, but it hasn't been 20 years, that's for sure.
Sure.
That kid messages you. He calls you Mr. Jimenez or Mr. X sometimes. And the message says, Mr. X, I don't think your next fight is a good idea for you. I've dug up this. And there's a link to a web article.
Okay. So, Jimenez, or Carl, as some people might call him, he's going to take a look at that article and see what it says.
It's a local article from the Night City Gazette. It's like in the sports section of the Scream sheet, but like in a corner, like the type of article that is just there as filler. The 4 wrestlers that fought against ice dragons all had, during that fight, career-ending injuries. Each one of them. Oh. And they are considering suing Club Underground and Ice Dragon for damages.
Okay. So Jimenez is going to look at that and he's going to think to himself, oh, so it looks like Ice Dragon is really going into business for himself here. He'll use his agent and call up the Club Underground owner, El Jefe.
El Jefe, yeah.
And ask him if he has time for a quick meeting.
Jefe says, anything for you? When do you want to meet?
Let's meet a little bit after lunch.
Alright, I know a nice place. There's a bar in town called the Forlorn Hope.
Alright. So, Jimenez doesn't know anybody yet. Are we going to say that he's already moved into the building at this point, or
you moved in? When did you move in the building again? Let me just check real quick in my notes. You moved in. You're one of the first that moved in. No, actually, you moved in 2 weeks ago. So no, you're staying elsewhere at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, since he probably only arrived just a week before he started his contract at Club Underground, he doesn't really know anybody in the city. He knows one person, who is Fiona, who wrestles for Night City Wrestling. But he hasn't really touched bases with her at all.
She was the one who introduced El Jefe to you, though. But that you don't know. That's true. She did it behind her back.
That's right. So, yeah, there really isn't anything that Jimenez does at this time. He might go around with his agent, his is that what they call the cell phone?
Yeah, the agent is basically your cell phone, your smartphone.
Yeah. So he'll probably go around and he'll just shoot a lot of random crap. But if it finds itself at all amusing, he might post it to a data pool. But for the most part, he's sort of just biding his time. Might have to go to his night job later.
Okay. And you, I guess, eventually meet up with El Jefe?
Yeah, so do that. And Jimenez is dressed up a little bit better than he was when he went to the ring. So,
but do you wear, like, your everyday attire, does it resemble your costume, or is it completely different?
No, it's kind of a little plain. I almost want to say that he goes around business casual.
Okay. And so you meet him. It's easy enough to ask directions to the Forlorn Hope. It's this brick building with a neon sign. It looks kind of crappy, but at the same time, you have a distinct impression that it's part of the charm of this sort of seemingly rundown establishment. You come in, and of course we're, in the middle of the afternoon. It's a bar. There's not a lot of patrons. And at the bar sits El Jefe. He's looking at one of the TVs and holding a drink in his hand. A beer, in fact. And he's just watching the news. Go on, he doesn't notice you approach. The bartender, though, gives you a nod as you enter. But that's it.
Yeah. So Jimenez doesn't waste any time. He's just going to pull up a chair next to El Jefe. And just say, hey, thanks for meeting me on short notice.
Oh, hey, anything for you?
Yeah. That's kind of weird to Jimenez because he's always so used to scratching and clawing for any sort of recognition as a professional wrestler. But he'll just order a glass of ice water and get right down to it. So someone forwarded this article to me, and he'll show it. So seems like Ice Dragon's taking some liberties with folks in the ring. What's going on, man?
I was hoping you wouldn't to see this article, but yes. He's gone off script. I think he's not taking too well to the fact that the fight with you is gonna be his last. I think he's got petty revenge on his mind. I've already met with him, and I've already told him to quit the crap. He says that the 4 people were just accidents. They were too new, they didn't know how to handle themselves. But from what they told me, seems like he's tweaking the moves. Making sure everything he does hurts just a bit more. Does them just wrong enough that something can happen. And it's a matter of luck if something does happen. I don't want to cancel the fight. Jimenez, we can't, like, this is, I mean, unless you tell me that you don't want to fight, then you know what, you don't fight, and that's it. But that's your entry point into the club. You're gonna have to face the dragon.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. I'll wrestle anyone, anytime, anywhere. But where can I find Ice Dragon around this time?
What are you gonna do to him?
I'm just gonna talk. I mean, I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I mean, the character that I put in the ring isn't really too far from what I'm like in real life. But there's a code in wrestling. You know, we're all trying to put food on the table, and going into liberties like that is just not cool.
No, it isn't.
Well, when it comes time to retire, you go out on your shield. So, I'm gonna try to reason with him, but you know, if I can't get through to him, I'm gonna have to do something about it.
All right, and he texts you his address on your agent. It says you can probably find him. If he's not there, he's at the club's gym.
Cool. All right. That was easy.
Don't expect me to do much more for you from now on. I mean, you're gonna be one of the fighters. And, even though you came with very high recommendations, you're still gonna be treated like the other guys.
Yeah, it's fine. As long as the paycheck comes through, I'm not going to be too worked up about it.
Speaking of, I had to tell you something about the paycheck. Your first fight tonight, well, not tonight, but the end of the week with Ice Dragon. You're technically not part of the league yet. Not the league, but the club. You don't get club rates. You're still an independent. So, $150.
Wow. Wow. You can be certain you'll get your $150 worth come Saturday.
All right.
All right. Anything else?
Not unless you want to drink with me.
No. I don't really drink a whole lot.
He looks at your glass of water and says, "Yeah, I see that."
Well, see you Saturday, I guess. If you need anything, just call.
Try not to rile up the dragon.
All right. So, Jimenez will just hurry on out and try to make his way over to Ice Dragon's address.
He's, as you ring the doorbell, you don't hear anything for a while, and then just grunting. And the door opens to a sweaty ice dragon with a dumbbell in his left hand. What are you doing here?
I just wanted to talk. You got a moment? Need a spotter?
Sure, come in. We're not supposed to be seen together.
Whatever. Everybody knows wrestling is scripted.
Everybody knows Santa Claus isn't real, yet you see him in the mall every year.
Yeah. Well, we're here to suspend their disbelief in the ring, but no, we got some stuff to talk about.
All right, come in. Make yourself at home. And you notice his apartment is a 2.5. He's got an entire area reserved for like kitchen, an entire room for kitchen and dining room. Where his living room would be, he just turned it into a home gym. And he has a TV set against the wall. And he just puts one of his dumbbell down. Actually, I should say 3.5 because there's the bedroom. And puts the dumbbell down and lies down on the bench press. And starts doing reps. And says, "So, between grunts, what do you want to talk about?"
So, I noticed your last 4 opponents have actually come out with some pretty rough injuries there.
Accidents mostly. Fucking newbies don't know how to take a hit.
No, I mean there's working stiff and there's outright hurting someone. You know, there's a code.
You're right. There's a code, and then there's rules and regulations, and nothing's gonna care. Nothing's gonna matter the moment they're gonna try to get rid of you. You work for them, and you break your body in pieces for them for years, and that's how they thank you.
What, so you don't have another gig lined up after this?
I ain't got nothing. You're my last, and then it's just dry seas for fuck knows how long. I'm gonna lose my apartment, I'm gonna lose my car, I'm gonna lose my girlfriend, I'm gonna lose everything. I'm gonna fucking lose to you.
Well, we all know that winning and losing doesn't really matter so much in professional wrestling. Sure, people fans argue about that all day long about who deserves to win a match and who loses a match, but we're there just to put on a show.
I know, but wouldn't it have been nice if I had to, I don't know, if I can win a championship before I retire in glory? No, instead they just discard me as an old, broken, I don't know, old, broken piece of junk or something.
Well, maybe you need some time off. It doesn't have to be the end. You can take a couple of months to recuperate and, show up in another league. I mean, I get it. I've been at this for about 10 years now. Hasn't been a pretty easy road for me either. Still don't know why they called me over here out of the East Coast. Seems very strange for someone of my level. But at any rate, look, I don't want any trouble. I don't think there's any bad blood between us. But I know this is your last match, and it doesn't really matter to you, but I'm going to have to continue going on, and I would like to do it with all of my limbs intact. So, look, can we just go out there, put on a really great match? I'll make you look as great as possible. Make sure that those fans give you the send-off that you deserve.
Make a persuasion check. And I'll say it's a DC 20. Remember, you have luck that you can spend to increase your roll at a 1-for-1 basis.
Wow.
That's perception. That's not persuasion.
Oh, my bad.
It's okay. You get to reroll.
Yeah, okay. I'll use 3 luck.
3 luck. He puts the bar down and sits up on the bench and says, "Alright, but you better make me look good. I want to have potential after that. Don't want to be some chump heel who's going to lose all the time. I think I'm probably going to spend the time to reinvent myself."
It sounds like a good idea. And, if you need any feedback later, let me know.
I can see now why LFA has a soft spot for you. I thought you blackmailed him or something into coming here.
No. I don't even know why I'm really here, but I'm not going to be too concerned about it. The point is that you're going to make your last match here one of the best you'll ever have.
All right. Well, I'll see you in 3 days. And he extends a hand.
Okay. So Jimenez will shake it and head on out.
Do you do anything for the next 3 days? Anything special?
So Jimenez will probably take a couple of videos and post them to the data pool of him doing his prep for his training, which kind of just involves him basically sitting on a couch and drinking orange juice. And he has one of those grip things that he's sort of just squeezing, and he'll do like maybe five or 6 reps and then just put it down like, all right, I'm ready. Well, he's doing this while he's wearing sunglasses, so yeah, he's got all this non-intensity.
All right. The night of the match arrives. You the way things are scripted is there is a pre-show with a fake Jimenez fighting like other wrestlers. It's more of a like presentation of who you were. Like they've unearthed footage of what you did in the East Coast leagues and they're reenacting it. But they're poorly reenacting it, like literally making fun of who you are and what you've been through to get there. And then Ice Dragon comes to the ring. Booed by the crowd. He just lights up his cigarettes. Takes a drag of each. Exhales a puff of smoke. Screams at the crowd. Takes off his jacket and says, "Alright, where's this little punk at? I ain't got all day." And we'd see the camera like zoom to the other side of the arena where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, so Jimenez isn't there. In fact, you'll see Jimenez sitting in the front row with his legs kicked up on the barricade. He's sort of looking a little bit bored. But then he'll just sit up and be like, "Oh, wait, is it my turn now? All right." And he'll hop the barricade and sort of just shed his hoodie and stretch a little bit. But then he'll just wave and say hi to everybody. But there isn't a whole lot of energy. It's sort of like, "Hey, how's it going? What's going on? Hey, I see you over there."
The crowd applauses.
And yeah, and so that he's sort of just leaning against the ropes, looking at the clock, and then looking at a fake watch on his wrist.
Dragon says, "So, you're gonna come up to the ring at some point? Or do I have to come and get you?" And he starts making his way towards you. And you can see as he's coming up to you, he flashes very quickly with his fingers, like a signal to like brace yourself for impact.
Okay. So Jimenez will do it. And so the way he's going to sort of approach that is he's going to really sell. Like, he's really getting hurt from all of these moves. Even more so than most. So what does he do first?
So I'm going to ask you an... Okay, we're going to say it's going to be a play instrument test. So for those of you watching, Jimenez is a rocker boy, a modified version of a rocker boy. So instrument in this case is his body and his wrestling abilities. So it's going to be a play instrument, but with the modifier of a complex task. So you can click on complex task on your sheet, and then click on your play instrument test roll.
Where do I see that complex action?
Oh, it's under the actions tab. Like there's sheet, actions, cyberware, gear.
Oh, okay.
So actions, and in other modifiers you have complex task. You can just click on it, it'll highlight it in green. Oof.
Okay, cool.
And while you do that, let's change that to sort of fighting music. 17. Do you want to spend any luck on it, or you're good?
No, I'm good.
Okay. You sell off the fact that the blows are supposed to hurt and injure you in some way. Even the commentators talk about the fact that, you know, there's been this rumors going around that the 4 other newcomers were broken and battered by the dragon. They were eaten up, as they say, and their career ended. It seems like poor Jimenez tonight is gonna meet the same fate, right, Jim? Absolutely, Bob. And, looking at this. Oh, the knee to the stomach. Oh, is he going for it? Dragon is going for the mega stomp. And, they keep talking about, like, the moves and everything. And as you fight, you bring the fight back onto the ring. And then have at it for a couple of minutes. Eventually, you can see Ice Dragon actually starting to like be low on energy. He's tiring. Like, he is somewhat old for a wrestler and doesn't have, even though you're not the most active of wrestler, you're giving him a run for his money. And he's panting subtly and looking at you, and he just whispers very quickly, "We have to end it."
Okay. So Jimenez, to stall it, Jimenez is going to put him into a sort of a chin lock. It's called chin locks and that sort of thing. That's called like a rest move. So you sort of hold it, and it just gives like 20 or 30 seconds for people to catch their breath and figure out what they want to do next. So like, you sure I can carry this through a couple more minutes?
He says, as you chin lock him, you said Blaze of Glory, right? What did you have in mind?
I want you to hit me with your finisher twice.
All right, you sure?
Yeah. Yeah, and then on the third time, I'll reverse it into a Mahestral carry and win that way. And so the way Jimenez figures is that by doing it that way, it sort of means that it's instead of using the finisher to finish off, it's not really a definite like, oh, he totally got you. This is sort of a skin of the teeth kind of win. So he's sort of doing it this way to make sure that both he comes off just a little bit better, but Dragon looks really dominant as well.
Like you almost win by sheer luck or something.
Yeah, basically.
And you know his moves, the Dragon's Breath.
Yes.
And it basically consists in him. He has a special vape that he has, which is just water mist. But he just blows it in your face, and as the wrestler tries to get the smoke out, he runs back to the other edge of the ring, uses the ropes to give himself a swing, and come at you and hit you with both feet in the chest as he drop kicks you.
Okay.
And he does it once, and then as you get back up, inhales, puffs out, does it again. And I'm gonna ask you to roll an athletics check against his athletics to see how well you pull it off. Do you want to spend luck? Do you still have luck left?
I do. I have 5 left. Do I just need to match his, or do I need to win?
Match or above.
Okay. So I'll spend 1 luck.
All right. If you had failed, it would have meant that you get the move out, but you get it like it's not timed correctly. It kind of shows that there was a flaw in the choreography. But in this case, through a bit of luck, but mostly all skill, how do you reverse his finisher as he comes running at you?
So Jimenez is going to sort of catch him in the air and tuck and roll. with him into a pinning motion, in such a way that his arms are both pinned down by his legs, by Jimenez's legs, and both of his legs are pulled up in such a cover that keeps him from trying to kick out effectively.
You grab him, throw him down, and lock him in place. And he just turns his head a bit and he's like, "You did good, boy. Keep at it. Don't let them walk over you." And he holds his head high and he's like, "Detach it." And he shakes his jaw and he's like, "Detach it."
Sure.
I can't. I won't feel a thing anyway.
All right. All right. So in the middle of the pin and the roll up, Jimenez will make a big show of it, but he'll make a big show of shifting his arm into the pin in such a way that it dislodges the jaw and locks him down further at an angle that looks really, really painful for the crowd, but it doesn't really do much.
For him, yeah. And as you dislocate the jaw, the plate goes off. And you realize it's just a plate. He has never changed the whole jaw. It's been cracked and everything, but it was, just like wrestling, a fake. And the jaw goes flying, the black plate of metal goes flying, and the crowd goes silent. Because as everyone knows, he's supposed to have had this extensive surgery and everything. And the commentators fall silent. This has never been part of a script ever. This is a secret that you gather even Ice Dragon kept to himself. He just giggles under your lock. And someone rings the bell. You win. You have actually beaten the dragon. You've actually ripped him apart. And that's what the news are gonna say about this fight, is that Jimenez, the man from the East Coast, the wrestler from the old country, well, the older part of the country, has come in and defeated the dragon. He has ripped the dragon apart asunder in a glorious match, and it deserves a small place in the scream sheets. Small article, you're not front page, but still, there were about 150 people in attendance tonight for that match, and it was filmed. You don't know when it's gonna be broadcasted, but your entrance into Club Underground was made on a high note. And you avoided, thanks to your cool head, a lot of pain. And by a lot of pain, I mean I have a paragraph worth of pain in my notes. You managed to melt this old man's heart. And with that high note, that's when we're gonna end your intro for tonight. Did you have fun?
Yeah, that was great.
Cool.
My character didn't really have to work too hard, so.
Well, there were a few amongst everyone. You're probably the one character whose DCs were the highest.
Oh, really?
Yes. Okay. Because I wanted really to show that Jimenez has to work to get by, and I was like, oh, he's gonna have to burn his luck, and you did burn it a bit. But I wasn't.
I burned half of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting you to actually go and try to persuade him. I was I didn't know actually what you would do. I left that open, and I'm very happy to see how you've handled it. Say goodbye to Jimenez, everyone. We'll meet him again once we start the game in earnest later. Again, I hope you had fun.
Totally
And
did.
we'll oh, by the way, I know Chris is in chat, but at the end of the show tonight, we'll bring everyone back together, so don't go too far.
Yeah, I'll be here.
And to do outros and everything. Chris, same thing. So we'll just take a quick break. On when we come back from break, we'll give away the Cyberpunk Jumpstart Kit, and we will introduce our last character on the roster. See you in a couple minutes, everyone. Hello, we are back, and we're about to do this giveaway while I fix the cameras again. So anyone who wants to participate in the Jumpstart giveaway, so the Jumpstart kit for Cyberpunk Red, the one that we're using tonight, and throughout this whole campaign for as the rule set basically for this campaign, you can go ahead and enter code !red in chat. I will leave all of you a few moments to type it in. So if you want to participate in the giveaway, you type in !red in chat. Okay, either there's a very long delay or... Okay, people are typing now. I got scared for a moment. Alright, I'll give you a few minutes. So, !red in chat. I hope everyone's having fun. How's everyone night going so far? Are you having fun with the new characters? Are the introductions to their lives prior to the start of the campaign? Is this something that that you've that you like? Like, would you like more one-on-one scenes over the course of the campaign? Let us know in chat. Not Sab, you said that you still don't understand what it is, but you've never watched this stuff before. You've never watched an actual play before. We're basically playing a tabletop RPG, and this is us playing in front of an audience. Basically, think of it like improv, and in front of people, but in a set world that's already been determined. And if you don't know about the system of the game, if you're familiar with RPGs in general, but just not the system, it is Cyberpunk Red, made by R. Talsorian Games. They also make the Witcher RPG. So I will roll a winner. And the winner is Justin Ludlow. Justin, you won. Send me a message either by Twitch or Twitter. I will need your email address, and I will forward that to... Oh, and Castle Falkenstein, that's true. Another game that we played on that channel, on this channel. But yeah, so Justin, just send me a message either on Twitter or here on Twitch, and yeah, we'll get you your Talsorian will get you your Jumpstart kit. So stick around, everyone. There's one last intro, and after that we do the big giveaway for the whole library. We're going back to Night City, going back in time a few months before the start of our campaign, and this time we're going to meet the last, but certainly not least, member of our cast. Hi, who are you? Can you introduce yourself and your character, please?
Hi, I'm Ren, and I will be playing Jinx.
And Jinx is a nomad. A nomad is a type of character who normally lives on the road and escorts mostly caravans and people in the lawless lands that lie between the major cities. Jinx, you were recently hired. Actually, to go back even further in time, you used to ride with your family until something happened. Can you tell us what happened to your family?
Basically, I had an uncle who decided to betray the family. And circumstances led to basically my family disappearing.
And so you've managed to find other groups of like-minded individuals not necessarily nomads, but people that were nomad adjacent, let's say. And these people that took you in call themselves the Harpies. There's 3 of them. It's an all-women group of motorcycle riding mercenaries. You can see them actually on Roll20. I have their pictures up in the Dramatis Personae folder. They go by the name of Danvers, Prince, and Storm. Danvers is a purple-haired woman with a cyber eye and a large interface plug on the side of her head. Whereas Prince has her hair dyed blue, and she's more like the face and leader of the group. And Storm is the newest member. Well, she was the newest member before you got on board. And she's a black-haired woman with a barcode tattoo over one of her eyebrows. She has one cyber eye that you know is connected to a smart gun that she carries around everywhere. The gun is also mounted on her motorcycle when she needs to, when she rides out, and is quite deadly in combat. That said, you and the Harpies have taken on a contract recently. That was far before you moved into the apartment. Since you were one of the first people who moved in 2 years ago, this part of the adventure takes place 3 years before the start of the game. You are to escort from Night City to Los Angeles a convoy of 3 Chu-2 tankers. Chu-2 is a sort of alcohol/fuel source that you can drink, but it's not recommended because you'll probably go crazy or blind. But it's also what replaces ethanol and gas in cars, basically. And this company that has hired you, they are called Transport Unlimited. They go by TX Unlimited. 4 of their convoys have been hit hard by raiders recently. And now they've decided to fork out additional funds to have someone protect them. And that's where you and the Harpies come in. And you leave the streets of Night City. Would you rather leave during the day or at night?
We'd probably leave during the day, just to make sure that we get there in one piece.
All right. You know that Los Angeles is about 4 to 6 hours away from where you are in Night City. Leaving during the day, let's say leaving at 9 in the morning, you would arrive at 3 in the afternoon probably, would have enough time to come back to Night City for the night, which is probably the best scenario. You ride out these 3 steel tankers being flanked by the Harpies. There's 4 of you total. I know you're not necessarily the one in charge, Jinx, but I'll leave it up to you, the player. How do you want the Harpies to be placed around that convoy?
Okay, I'd basically make it so that the 3 tankers are one behind the other, except in like a bit of a zigzag formation. And then have 2 of the Harpies on one side and another of the Harpy and myself on the other side in a bit of a diagonal formation. Yeah. I would think that the leader would be at the front, and then Yeah, Storm. Prince. And then I'd have probably Danvers with me, and the newest mix. Yeah, Storm would be with the leader, Prince.
I clicked on the mute button by mistake. And so you ride out with the harpies. It takes about 3 hours before something happens. Over the first 3 hours, you don't notice anything but some roadkill, a few of the other passing cars. As a nomad, you know that this this area, not this area, but highways and interstates are rife with raiders and other gang members who just prey on passerbys. Yes, pro streamer, very much. After 3 hours, you see in the distance a barricade. Someone has brought down a school bus and put it sideways across the road. There seems to even be barbed wire on top of the bus. The 3 tankers slow down. What do you do?
I'll raise up my gun and look through my scope just to see what I can see in the horizon and around that barricade. Do I see any people, robots, guns?
Make a perception check, please.
Hold on.
With a 20, you notice that while there aren't anyone that you can see, you can definitely hear the sound of motors. Specifically, motorcycle motors coming from beyond the barricade.
I imagine we have comms between the 4 of us.
Yeah, you have like cyber walkie-talkies.
Okay. I'll call in the leader and ask what she wants to do, what she thinks we should do.
Prince says, keep an eye on the periphery. They're sure to strike at us from probably the sides of the bus. They'll probably come from off-road. Stay sharp, ladies, and make sure that nobody touches the tankers.
Sounds good.
And it takes a good solid 2 or 3 minutes before anything happens. There's just complete silence. Except for you and your increased perception, that you can still hear the sound of the motors getting closer and closer. And after 2-3 minutes, you see them. You see the smoke coming out of their exhaust pipes. And you see those 5 motorcycles coming at you. 3 on one side, 2 on the other. And they are armed with assault rifles. And they're coming your way.
I don't even hesitate. I raise my sniper rifle and I will take a shot as soon as I know that I have line of sight on one of them and that the distance is all right.
You raise your sniper rifle, and do you aim for center mass or do you aim specifically for the head?
For now, center mass.
Okay, make an attack roll with your weapon.
Which one?
On your sheet,
Yep.
you should have. Let me open your sheet up for a moment.
Alright.
Under actions. So in the action tab.
Yep.
Oh, it's true because you technically don't have your sniper by the time you use your medium SMG. So 35 is what you roll. And you needed, at this range, they're about 50 meters away from you. You needed a 10, so you hit. Roll for damage, please. $11 damage. You fire at the oncoming well, that wouldn't be. I'm sorry, you rolled what? 2d6. Yeah, sorry, can you roll 5d6? To roll in Roll20, you type /R space 5d6. $17, yeah, that's more like it. Though the bullet hits... Thank you. Though the bullet hits, it doesn't fell them. They seem to be wearing armor of some sort, probably under their clothes. Since you fired first, they return fire in earnest. And the girls immediately break with their motorcycles, use them as cover, put themselves in position, and start returning fire. I'm going to ask you to roll for initiative. There's an initiative button. Ooh, so you rolled a 1. Yeah, your total is 1.
That's typical.
And they roll a 10. So they'll go first. And they're spreading out and firing at each one of you. 2 of them are focusing fire on Prince. One of them is trying to pin her down with suppressive fire. And the other is trying to aim for the heads, really. And Jinx, one of them is actually going to aim for your head.
Second cover.
Yeah, you probably can. Let me just check. So it's a d10 plus 6. They are using SMGs at 50, so no, that's a miss. So while he's trying to fire at your head, they keep coming closer. They were 50 meters. They are now 25 meters from you. And for the sake of this combat, we'll say that the one that you've injured before is the one that attacked you.
Okay.
So it's now the girl's turn. I'm just gonna roll an average roll for all of them. That is a hit. So all 3 of the other harpies fire, unleash hell on the raiders, and while they do not kill them, they do break 2 of their motorcycles and send the raiders tumbling in the dust. And the others are still coming closer, the 3 remaining ones. It is now your turn.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking at one thing. Okay, so the one that's shooting at me,
Yeah.
I'd like to try and finish him off.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably. How close is he?
25 meters.
Okay, is he still on this bike?
Yes.
I'm gonna try and headshot him.
Alright, click on the headshot button. You need to roll a 10 or above.
Okay.
That's a hit. So, roll for damage.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that would be 5d6
Sorry.
times 3.
Times 3.
It's okay. He's dead. His head explodes like an overripe melon. And the motorcycle goes spinning into the dust, carrying his body still on it. The other, since there are now just 2 of them on motorcycles, they decide to circle around you and just leave for Night City. The other 2 that fell, the Prince and Storm, quickly rush up to them and finish them off. Silence falls back on the road. I'm gonna ask you to make another perception check. You hear a knocking sound coming from inside one of the tankers.
Okay, I go up. Yeah?
The knocking stops.
I look at Prince. I'm like, what was in these again?
Chutu? Why?
I just heard knocking coming from one of them.
You sure it's not just your ears ringing from the fight?
Pretty sure.
Want to take a look?
Yeah.
And she motions to the ladder that's in the back of the tanker, the one that goes up on the reservoir and that you can like walk on the top, and there's a giant valve on top that you can open. You approach the ladder and start climbing 1, 2 rungs, and then you hear the sound of a shotgun being cocked and pressed against your flank. It's the driver of the tanker. He says, "Little missy, I wouldn't go poke my nose where it don't belong."
Sure about that?
I'm shotgun to your chest, sure.
Is Prince doing anything?
She went back to her motorcycle after motioning for the ladder because nobody expected the drivers to try anything. And even the driver from the tanker behind him is just looking, arms crossed on his steering wheel. They seem to be in league with one another.
Alright. Back off. I'll go back to my bike.
Yeah, you do that. We're paying you to ride and to protect us. Not to snoop around. And he goes back into his cabin.
Yeah. Protection. Right.
The trucks begin moving again, slowly. They'll circle off-road. The bus. And they keep going towards LA. For the next leg of the journey, is there anything specific that you would like to do until you before you reach Los Angeles?
I'll switch out so that I can ride up beside Prince so I can talk to her.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, who gave us this job?
Company called TX Unlimited. Why?
I don't know. I got a weird feeling about these tankers.
That sound you heard?
Yeah. I mean, I find it weird. I've moved tankers like this before and there was never any sound.
Well, they're bound to go to a shipping dock at some point.
You want to wait till then? Or do we try and figure something out now?
I mean, you're the nomad, as they call. What's your take on it?
I'm not liking these drivers. They're a little too overprotective. How about up the road? Is it possible that there's like a pit stop place or something that we can go to the bathroom?
Sure, there's bound to be like a rest area at some point.
I figure what we'll do is we'll pull off. We'll stop at the rest area. Give the excuse that we're filling up our bikes.
Could you make me a... We'll go with persuasion. A persuasion test.
Oh boy.
Remember, you have luck that you can... Oh, God. So, as you approach the drivers to tell them that, you know, you're gonna need to refuel, they just say, nope, we're not stopping until Los Angeles. You need to refuel, you can do it from the car, but we're not stopping anywhere.
Alright then. We'll keep going.
You keep rolling with them, eventually arriving in LA, on the outskirts of LA. As they head for an industrial park, they tell you, they radio you in, saying that they won't need you any further, and that you can expect your payment from TX Unlimited within 24 hours. And I figure the 4 harpies like group up together before leaving. And Prince looks at all 3 of you and says, I've made Storm and Denver's aware of what you said. Sounds fishy, but I don't know if we should meddle.
I mean, you don't have to risk your lives. Not your problem. I mean, you can just turn around and go. I'm thinking I might snoop around. But I'm nosy like that.
Well, if you're staying, we're staying. The harpies don't split up.
Cool. If it gets bad, you guys run.
All right. So what's the plan?
I'm thinking we sneak up, scout it out a little bit, see what they're doing. We'll go from there. See what our options are.
All right. So you approach... Do you approach on your motorcycle, or do you approach, like, on foot, the shipping docks?
No, I figure we park the motorcycles a little bit farther away. And we'll go on foot. It's a little more quiet.
You, take your time and sneak up. I'm gonna ask you to roll for a stealth check as you approach the parking lot where all 3 tankers are currently located. You are a ninja. And, Nobody sees you approach. The 3 tankers are parked side by side. You don't know which is which, they're all identical. The drivers don't seem to be anywhere around, but the motors are left running.
You guys up to stealing some tanks?
Storm says, doesn't that void the contract we have with them?
Yeah. Alright, look. I'm gonna go down. Check them out. Cover my ass.
She gets her pistol out. She's like, whenever you want.
I'll go down. Obviously, keeping an eye out for cameras, shadows, lights. Stick. Yeah.
That counts as your 20 stealth.
Yeah.
You approach the tankers, and again, you hear from the leftmost one.
Okay, I'll go to that one.
It just repeated knocking on it. You climb up top. And it's weird, because when you get to the top and you reach the round thing, like the thingy that you turn to open it. Wow, words tonight. The wheel. It's chained and locked with a padlock. From your vantage point, you look at the other tankers, and they don't have that. Only this one is chained.
Can I... Okay, tell me if I can do this. I want to activate my reflex boost now.
Okay.
Because I'm going to shoot the lock off. And I have a feeling that's going to attract a lot of attention.
All right. You activate your reflex booster.
Yeah.
Enhancing your reflexes. You...
I'm just hoping to be that much faster doing my stuff and trying getting whoever's in there, if it's a person, out of there.
You whip out your rifle and fire at the padlock. I'm not going to ask you to roll for anything. I mean, you're right there. You can take your time. The padlock breaks apart. You quickly remove the chain, start opening up the valve, and open the hatch. And when you look in through the darkness, you can see. Do you have like the low light?
Nope.
Okay. So you can barely make out the silhouette of people. All of them wearing nothing but rags.
Shit.
Most of them, though, have bulky implants on them. They look like people that, you know, were able to afford some very low-end, probably wonky and second-hand cybernetic pieces. Like cyber arms, cyber legs, spines, that sort of things. And seems like they can't afford much more. Your thoughts immediately go to, oh my god, these people are gonna get butchered for parts. But you don't have a lot of time to think as you hear the voice of a driver come around and say, hey, hey, hey!
I headshot him.
You have increased reflexes. You're going to roll before him. So roll for a headshot.
God, I hope this works.
You are equipped with a rifle. You would need a 10 or above. You got a 21. Roll for damage. Times 3.
can't just do like X3.
I don't think it's gonna work, so we'll just
Okay.
count it after. Whatever. Ripe watermelon. It's just pow! And the body falls down after a second.
I'll jump on the comms, tell the girls to go grab the bikes and go. I'm grabbing the tanker.
You grab the tanker and pull out of the parking lot and leave. The other girls, one of them tries to bring your motorcycle with her.
Yeah.
As you're driving, you're about a half hour away from Los Angeles, back on the road to Night City, when you hear the whirs of helicopters chasing after you, 2 of them. And they open fire on the tanker with miniguns. I am going to ask you for this chase to make a driving test. You will manage to avoid the bulk of the damage, but you can't, not with that check, shake off the helicopters. Is there anything that you want to try?
Do I see anywhere where there's like cover, trees, mountains, like or hills?
Oh,
Somewhere where they can start losing sight of me.
You're driving an 18-wheeler. That's going to be rough, but you know the area around, and you know the hills of LA. There's probably a way for you to at least temporarily lose them. I'd say that's gonna be weird. Make a stealth check, but no, wait.
Sorry.
Click on wrong tools and complex task, because you are stealthing with an 18-wheeler and trying to dodge 2 helicopters.
Okay.
And remember, you have luck if you want to.
I'll use my luck. How does the luck work?
It's 1 for 1, so just let me know how much luck that you want to spend. Just 1 point?
Yeah, for now. Unless 2 makes it better, then I'll use the 2.
It's going to be against their perception check.
Oh dear God. Ah, 2.
All right, so you've got 14.
Yeah.
Oh no. 19. They have a -6. You easily lose them. Not by being super stealthy with a tanker, but by somehow managing to get the sun in their eyes long enough for you to drive away safely.
Yeah.
Wow. You make your way back to Night City. Where do you go? What do you do with a tanker full of people?
I imagine I know an area that's kinda more safe.
Define safe.
Somewhere where I can drop them off and be like, okay, look, you're free to go, but you're on your own now. So enough time that they can walk away far enough that they're not my responsibility anymore.
Yeah, there are places, like, especially when you get closer to the combat zone where it's pretty much every man for himself, that you could drop them. Definitely. Is that where you decide to go?
Yeah.
Alright. As fate would have it, as you drive by, you notice an apartment with a sign that says, "For rent." It's the 2077 Pondsmith Avenue. You drop off your passengers. Most of them are haggard. They don't even seem to know what's going on. Some of them even ask you outright, are we still in Night City?
You're back in Night City.
What the fuck? Alright. Well, thanks, I guess. Where? And they just start moving out, away, climbing out of the truck, and just dispersing in the city. One of them, an older lady, looks clearly agitated, and she comes out of the tanker and looks at all four of you, the harpies, and says, "They've got my child. Where is he? Where's Damien?"
I don't know.
Shit. And she climbs back down and she's like, "I have to find Damien. I have to find Damien." Shit. And she just leaves running towards, like, the north side of town. Denver's Storm and, Denver's Storm and Prince, gather around you after everyone's gone, and they're like, "So how do we spin this?" They'll know it was us.
Yep. You can put it on me.
But if we put it on you, we put it on the harpies.
Well, just say I'm rogue.
Prince said, "Alright. You're taking the bullet for all of us?"
Yep. I cost you the money. I can sell the truck for parts. I'll give you that.
Well, sell the truck for something, settle somewhere. We'll reach out when the dust settles. It was nice riding with you for these few months.
It was great. I gotta go get my bike.
Oh yeah, Denver's got it.
Oh, sweet. Thanks.
And, you're... whoever's smuggling people out of Nice City, there are probably people you don't want to cross. We're gonna have to give them information on you to placate them. Do you have another place to hide?
Yep.
Alright.
Just give me a couple days.
We'll stall them for as long as we can. They said 24 hours anyway, so I suspect they'll contact us tomorrow.
Fair enough. Should have enough time to move.
Alright then. And she puts a hand on your shoulder. Says, "I wasn't raised a nomad, but if what they say about them is true, we'll see each other again. The call of the open road and all that."
Always.
Alright. Girls, we're leaving. And, the others wave goodbye at you. Prince turns around and says, we'll find a way to contact you. We're gonna have to. Change your number. Make sure you can't be traced.
Alright.
And, good luck.
Thanks. You too.
And that was 3 years ago. Actually, that was 2 years ago. Because soon after, you moved in to the 2077 Pondsmith Avenue. In your tiny apartment where you park your motorcycle in the living room.
And sleep with my gun.
And sleep with your gun. You will not have had contact with the Harpies for a good while, but they did send a message after a year to let them know that the heat was still on, that they've had a hard time trying to find jobs. It seems like TX Unlimited has blacklisted them from almost any convoy escort job that they could get out of Night City. They're moving to Los Angeles for a while. They'll probably be back. They don't know when, but they'll send word to you. That was a year ago. You haven't heard about them. You haven't heard from them since. That's the end of the introduction. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
I know it was short, but I hope everyone had fun in chat. I know I had tons of fun. Let me stop the music for a moment. Thank you everyone for coming. We'll do all the thank yous and the messages and all that in a moment. But first, I would like to give away the entire library of oh wait, how do I, okay, sorry, not used to this. Okay, the entire library of books from Artal Sorian, the entire library of Cyberpunk books, and we'll give that away to one lucky winner who types in !headshot in chat. !headshot. I'll bring the rest of the group. Can Chris and Anino come back into Zoom, please? While everyone is typing headshot in chat. For a chance to win that sweet, sweet prize of, I lost count of how many books that is. But it's a lot. Quite a lot. Actually, Jay, you're in chat at the moment. Could you tell us, Jay Gray at Telsorian, how many books is that? How many books are there in the entire library of Cyberpunk 2020? Hello, Mr. White. Hello, hello. Do we have sound from you guys?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. So before we go into outros and to tell us what you've enjoyed tonight, we will give away those books. So everyone, last chance, ! Headshot to win. And players, you can also participate, by the way, if you want in. I don't think it's a problem either, if you wanted in that contest. So Headshot. I'm leaving another 20 seconds before I click on the giveaway button. and then just silence for 20 seconds. It's around 34 books. Not the complete library, but everything that is available digitally. I should have said the complete library of PDFs, of digital books. But it still is 34 books for free. And I will roll the giveaway. And the winner is Quests and Chaos. Congratulations, Quests and Chaos. Send me a message on Twitch or on Twitter and I will forward that to our Talsorian. Congratulations on your win. You can now make your own Cyberpunk campaign using the rules for Cyberpunk 2020. I'll get those gloves off. So, let's go around the players. We'll start with Chris. Chris, can you tell us who you are, where we can find you, what you have going on in your life, and what was your favorite moment tonight?
Oh, let's see. Well, I'm Chris Geary. You can find me at Chris Geary on Twitter right now. This is the primary game that I am a part of. I have a few other projects that are in the works. So look out for that kind of stuff from me. Find me on Twitter and you can read all about it. My favorite part for the game tonight, I think honestly, was getting to see the other two characters, getting to see their personalities come out as you put them through stuff. So that's probably where I'm at.
Cool. Anino, next. You're muted.
Yes. Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name's Anino. You can find me on the Twitter at Anino Gaming. You can also find me doing a recurring appearance role on the Other Doc channel. Tomorrow at 8 p.m., we will be heading back into Saturnine for our Invisible Sun campaign. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/OtherDoc. I had a great time. It's the first time appearing on this channel. So it was great to, as Chris mentioned, see all the other characters. I like the really, really big contrast in the scenes, whereas mine was like so totally non-violent. and Jinx comes in and basically shoots everybody in the head. So yeah, it's gonna be a nice fun contrast and see how the story plays out.
Cool. By the way, both you and Chris, if you want to put links in chat, you can. So if you want to put out your Twitter, because your Twitter handles were shown during your intro, but if you want to just repeat them in chat, go right ahead. And last but not least, Rin, who are you? Where can we find you? What do you have going on in your life? And what did you enjoy tonight?
Hi, I'm Rin, at Heaven's Night on Twitter. I can put it in chat if need be. This is the first game ever that I stream online. So this is new. I'm usually the person who lurks behind the camera and feeds the DM. What I really liked tonight was obviously the headshots. That's always fun. I really cannot wait to see all the characters together because we are so different. Otherwise, there's not much else. I like K-pop and sports and anime and TT RPGs, so I will chat if you hit me up.
Cool. And I am half not there because of how the camera is placed. I am Simon at Wandering DM. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out in chat. Thank you for all the donations, all the follows, all the subs. Thank you to all of you watching on YouTube. It's always greatly appreciated to know that we have fans over on the other platform. Congratulations to Quest and Chaos. Congratulations to Justin for winning those 2 prizes. Like Jay said in chat earlier, they will be shipped out on Monday when he goes back to the office. We are going to stream at a different time tomorrow for Vampire the Masquerade. Instead of 1 p.m., we are going to stream at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. The reason being that in my quest to get partnered on Twitch, because all the times are in GMT, tonight's stream counts as being on Saturday, so I'm just bumping the other one so that we can fit in the weird schedule that Twitch has. But otherwise, we normally play Masquerade here at 1 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays. We play Dark Matter D&D in Space, the game that was created by one of our sponsors, Mage Press. By the way, you can go at mageandpress.com, use code WanderingDM to get 15% off your purchases. And that includes the hardcover, the pre-order of the hardcover of Dark Matter. Though right now they're having a Black Friday sale, so everything is 25% off. So you should go and jump on that opportunity. And we also play Cyberpunk here on Fridays, alternating Fridays. Right now, next Friday, there won't be a game anyway because of PAX Unplugged. We'll be back right after PAX for the first official game with the entire crew together. So that's going to be wild. I am pretty sure. I cannot wait to get everyone together and see the kind of shenanigans that they can get into. Otherwise, I thank you so much for coming. Once again, thank you to our sponsors, Mage Press. Thank you to Art Talsorian Games for making excellent games that are always fun to play. We've played Witcher here before. Chris has GM'd Castle Falkenstein, which was just a blast to play through. And now Cyberpunk. We'll probably revisit some of the other Talsorian games in 2020. And also, thank you to our newest sponsor, Found Familiar, the coffee company. I drink coffee throughout all my streams, sometimes a bit too much. But that's what keeps me awake enough to be able to not lose all the words in my brain. Found Familiar is a coffee company that ships all over the US. You can use code WanderingDM to get 10% off your purchases, and you get free shipping in the US territory. In the US for any order that is $50 or more. So go ahead and check their website. They have some great blends that I cannot wait to try. On that note, we'll see you again sometime soon. Ciao, everyone.
Turn